the reason why we need hyaluronic acid to be kept in our body is because we are losing it as we get older. It starts to decline. Even though our bodies naturally produce it, for some reason we slow down on the production of it as we get older. And it's the most hydrating water molecule known to man. It can bind up to 1,000 times its own weight in water. It's a critical element for our body, for body hydration. When we don't have it in there, we dry out. Our body dehydrates, or not so much dehydrates, we say it dries out, and with aging is a drying out process. It's also nourishing all of those collagen elastic fibers in the skin so that we don't have the sagging or the wrinkling of the skin kind of pulling down. It's nice and tight and healthy in appearance.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Healthy Habit Podcast. I'm excited for this one. We're talking with Mr. Darren Landis, president and co-founder of the company Hyalogic. Hyalogic was one of the first to bring the hydrating benefits of the hyaluronic acid molecule to the marketplace for humans and animals. Darren is certified as a respiratory therapist and has a Bachelor of Science degree in Allied Health Sciences from the University of Kansas Medical Center. He's held healthcare positions for nearly 25 years, working directly with humans and/or animals. It's our first time talking hyaluronic acid here on the podcast. Welcome, Mr. Darren Landis. We've talked on the radio, but I'm excited to have you on this new platform. How you doing, sir?
Good, good. Yeah, I checked out your TikTok and all the videos you're making, and you're doing a great job getting out and communicating and really bringing about the education to the consumers out there. So nice job yourself.
Thank you, Darren. It's still early. We're trying to make it all work, but we love having guests like you on, my friend. So tell us about Hyalogic. How did that hit the radar? That molecule, even hyaluronic acid. What is this?
Yeah, something interesting. So the molecule of hyaluronic acid is Hyalogic. We didn't invent the molecule. The molecule is something that our body naturally produces. Like right now, you and I and everybody listening, we're making hyaluronic acid. It's being produced inside of every living cell inside of our body. That its greatest love or its greatest benefit for our body is that this molecule, once it gets produced, it likes to go out and find body water. We're about 70% body water. And what it does, it takes that body water and turns it into a gel format, much like the water behind me. This is a hyaluronic acid in the image here. That's a bottle of the hyaluronic acid water mixture. And when you try to pour that bottle out, it comes out like syrup. It doesn't come out like water. And so hyaluronic acid's greatest benefit is it turns water into a gel. And then that gel water is everywhere throughout our body. It's in our skin, it's in our eyes, it's in our joints, it's in our lips and our gum tissue and everywhere throughout the body, our scalp. So it's got a hydrating beneficial effect throughout the whole body. This molecule was first discovered way back in the late 30s. The researchers that were studying it out back then, they were looking at the molecule and they were interested about the characteristics of it. And then fast forward into the early 80s, you saw some of the medical community working with hyaluronic acid. They were saying, hey, this stuff is great for the body overall. And then in the early 2000s is when you start seeing companies bring out dietary supplements that contain hyaluronic acid, specifically liquid formats that you could consume and take on a daily basis. And the reason why we need hyaluronic acid to be kept in our body is because we are losing it as we get older. It starts to decline. Even though our bodies naturally produce it, for some reason we slow down on the production of it as we get older. And it's the most hydrating water molecule known to man. It can bind up to 1,000 times its own weight in water. It's a critical element for our body, for body hydration. When we don't have it in there, we dry out. Our body dehydrates, or not so much dehydrates, we say it dries out, and with aging is a drying out process. So people are looking for hyaluronic acid in a supplement format and a topically applied skincare formula, personal care items like a scalp spray, a shampoo, a toothpaste that you can brush it on, dry mouth mint formulas, eye drops, a lot of, again, facial creams, body lotions, skincare. And so Hyalogic, we started 20 years ago producing liquid formats, and then we started morphing our product base into over 50 products that contain this hydrating, moisturizing, naturally occurring molecule inside of the body.
Incredible background, Darren. Thank you. So Hyalogic was the first in the industry, it looks like, to create a full line of supplements and skincare products, because there's both oral supplements here with capsule options and liquids like tincture type liquid option. And then you also have the topical line for skincare products using high molecular weight hyaluronic acid. Tell us then about that HMW-HA, I guess for acronym, high molecular weight hyaluronic acid. What is that, Darren?
Right. So your body naturally produces high molecular weight hyaluronic acid. Sometimes, like when I go to trade shows, I'll drag a rope with me, and I'll lay a 10-foot rope out across the floor of the trade show booth, and people are like, "What's the rope for?" And I say, "Well, it's a macro visual of what the microscopic molecule looks like." And they say, "Well, what do you mean?" I say, "Well, this molecule is a linear polysaccharide. It's a long chain sugar molecule that your body naturally produces. It's our bodies produce a variety of sugar molecules, and hyaluronic acid is one of them, but it's the only one of all the sugar molecules that our body produces that can bind up to 1,000 times its own weight in water. So this molecule has to have surface area for binding water. Anything that can bind up to 1,000 times its own weight in water, it's got to have a lot of surface area. Well, fortunately, that long rope-like structure is what gives it its surface area for binding water. Well, your body naturally produces like a 10-foot long rope as just a visual. And so you could deliver a 1-foot long rope, but if the body needs a 10-foot long rope, which is what we consider it to be high molecular weight, it's obviously got more surface area for binding water, and it can create more of a gel-like material, a thicker water gel solution, so that it can stay compartmentalized in the body. When it's nice and thick and syrupy, it'll stay in our skin for plumpness. When it's nice and thick and syrupy, it'll reside right between our bones and provide cushioning and lubrication. When it's nice and thick and syrupy, and we call that high molecular weight material, then it stabilizes and produces a cushioning benefit throughout the whole body. But when you start to work with a molecule that's smaller than that, oftentimes it loses its thickness and it won't have the cushioning ability or the hydrating or the lubricating or the space filling ability that the naturally occurring high molecular weight could have. But again, we're talking all kinds of technical stuff, but just think about this molecule, that it loves water, and your body naturally produces it each and every day. And as soon as it gets produced, it goes out, grabs onto that body water and turns the body water to gel, so that you have this space-filling, cushioning, hydrating, moisturizing gel throughout the body. But as we get older, we produce less and less and less. By the time we reach 50, we're making about half the hyaluronic acid we were making when we were in our 20s, and then we start to see the aging process set in.
Yeah, so it looks like this is a visual of what you're explaining here, Darren, where as we age...
Or the little graph that starts to go downward, you can see, and they don't know why we drop off in the production of hyaluronic acid. They're trying to figure it out. If they can figure it out, they might be able to hold off that whole aging process.
Right.
But for some reason, we drop off, and there's not really a food source that people could consume. You can't go to your local health food store and pick it up in some sort of a food product of some sort. So people are resorting towards a supplement or a skincare or personal care product.
So again, it's the high molecular weight version of the hyaluronic acid. You can see the two differences here in this photo, where this is the one that the body actually wants. This is the active form, ready to go, correct?
Yeah. Sometimes we got little tubes like that, and we put little marbles inside of those tubes, and then we tip the tubes upside down. And the one that's high molecular weight, the marble just barely moves. It just kind of sits there. It's real slow. But the one with low molecular weight, it moves a little bit quicker because it's not as thick. It's not as syrupy. So when hyaluronic acid and water mix together, they create what we call a viscoelastic property. Visco means viscosity or thickness, like motor oil, and elastic means it can be squeezed and pushed in on and manipulated around. And when you take the pressure off, it sponges back into shape. So I'm sitting in my chair right now, and I'm leaning back, but it's pushing in on my skin where there's this hyaluronic acid fluid in your skin. But as soon as I take the pressure off and lean forward, it sponges back out again. And same thing for our joints. When we stand up and we move around, we got this lubricating fluid inside of our joints. But as we get a little older, we don't have that fluid in there. So we've got to bring about some more.
So tell us then, Darren, about the options here. When I think Hyalogic, I think about the facial and skin products here. I've used a couple bottles of this original one here, just the pure hyaluronic acid. I'll zoom in here for the YouTube viewers. But we have this full lineup here at Healthy Habit Health Food, folks, at the corner of Bethany Home Road and 7th Street right here in Central Phoenix. Tell us about this skincare line right here. I think this is one of the most popular parts of Hyalogic, but let's hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, that pure HA serum is what Healthy Habits has been carrying for many years, and they've done well with it. And it's because once people apply it and put it on their skin, they're like, wow, that's naturally occurring inside of my skin. That goes in and attracts the water and turns the water into a gel and pushes the skin upward. It's kind of like taking a raisin back to a grape-like component. They call it the dermal filler or the space filler for the skin. And that's what hyaluronic acid does when you apply it topically. It just hydrates and brings back the cushioning or the space filling gel to the skin. And then the other component that people get excited about is all these little, like if I grab my skin and I stretch it and release it, it snaps back into shape. And those are those collagen fibers. Everybody's interested in collagen. They get excited about collagen. But those little stretchy fibers of collagen need to be hydrated. So they're swimming in a fluid gel bath of hyaluronic acid. So not only is hyaluronic acid plumpening the skin and keeping it hydrated, but it's also nourishing all of those collagen elastic fibers in the skin so that we don't have the sagging or the wrinkling of the skin kind of pulling down. It's nice and tight and healthy in appearance.
Absolutely. Hyalogic.com, folks.
The way our skincare got started is we had people that were taking our liquid supplement format, and the next thing they said is, hey, I want to start putting this stuff on my face. Can I take this liquid supplement and put it on my face? And we said, well, how about we formulate skincare products with the hyaluronic acid? And so it's morphed into several different lines. I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Doc. What were you going to say?
No, absolutely. I was just giving the website a shout out there, hyalogic.com, hyalogic.com, but I'll have it in the description box right under the video as well, hyalogic.com. You can go check that out. In the meantime, give us a call here at 602-252-6000. Again, 602-252-6000. We ship nationwide if you want to try out a bottle of Hyalogic. What's one of the most popular customer favorites then overall since you guys launched?
Well, there's no doubt about it that the topically applying, people are recognizing that hyaluronic acid applied to the skin is something that's natural inside of the skin, so they feel comfortable with making an application on the skin. So our pure hyaluronic acid skin serum is one of our most popular just because of its clean formula. And it is interesting when you take that hyaluronic acid gel and a little drop goes a long way. So you pump a little bit out on your finger and you can hold it upside down, and that little drop of that gel, that hyaluronic acid, just sets on your fingertip. But then you lightly dampen the skin and then you start to apply it where you want to apply it for hydration. And oftentimes we'll tell people, we say, put some on the back of one hand and not on the other, and then hold them side by side. And people are like, wow, I can really feel that absorbing into the skin. Yeah. So it is something that's natural in the skin. So your skin receives it or welcomes it in, and people enjoy that aspect of it. But we do have a lot of the products at Healthy Habits. We've got our hyaluronic acid serum. We've got facial scrubs. We got facial cleansers, because anytime you cleanse and scrub, you want to hydrate. So we've got the hydrating benefits of hyaluronic acid in those products. We got facial toners. We got a variety of other skin serums. And one of the things that Healthy Habits has is they've always done a good job of setting up, sample testing. We always encourage people to go into the store, read the labels, try the products, pump it out, put it on your finger, kind of rub it in, see if it's compatible with your skin. But those are some of the most popular. And then from the supplement side, our Synthovial 7 tincture product, the liquid that comes in the dropper. It's an orally administered form of the hyaluronic acid. You put a drop inside of your mouth, kind of hold it in your mouth if you want to, and then you can swallow it. That's been a real popular product. That was actually our first product that we rolled out 20 years ago in the natural channel side, and it's done well. We do have products for dogs and cats and horses, so ask about those too, and we can get those, presented.
Like dry scalp for the dogs and cats too, like really dry, rough coat, and for that use.
We've seen that too.
Yeah.
A lot of people are always asking us, do you have a shampoo? Do you have a conditioner for dogs? We said, well, we're going to make one for you. But right now we've got a topical dog spray where you can just spray it on and hydrate the skin and the coat for hydration. And then taking the hyaluronic acid internally in a supplement form is good for the joints and the skin and the eyes of all mammals, including, our four-legged friends. So just like it helps humans when they take hyaluronic acid internally, it's good to benefit the skin and the eyes and the joints overall.
About 10 minutes to go here in our discussion with Mr. Darren Landis. It's been a good one. We want to have you on again, Darren. This is basically an intro into the whole world of hyaluronic acid. And this is all evidence-based. There's so many peer-reviewed studies. Do you want to talk about that side a little bit, all the research on hyaluronic acid?
Yeah, I always encourage people. I'm kind of one of those. I'm from the background of, I always like to do my own research. I always like to study it out. I can hear somebody on a podcast or a radio or a TV and read an article, but I want to go do my own research. So I do encourage people to just go out and type online on your favorite search engine. Just type in the terms hyaluronic acid and research, say hyaluronic acid for joints or hyaluronic acid for skin or for eyes. And you will see a ton of research out there that's, third-party research. It's not related to a company like mine, that will kind of back up and show that, hey, when this hyaluronic acid is inside of your joints, it provides good, nice, comfortable cushioning movement. When it's inside of your eyes, it supports your eyes. When it's in your skin, it keeps your skin hydrated and nourished. And so you'll find a lot of research out there, and I always encourage people to do that. But the thing I always do is encourage them, go into your local health food store, talk to the employees and the staff members, ask them questions, ask them what they've heard. Have you heard this? Does this product really work? What have you heard? Because that's better than a review or a testimonial on a website. That's firsthand knowledge of what can go on. So that's why I believe that your health food stores are a critical piece into our marketplace.
Again, there's the skin side of it, the topical use of the Hyalogic products, but then we also have the liquid capsule gummy version and the chewable lozenges as well. What's the big difference then? Are they pretty much the same formula, just the oral version?
No, we got different. I mean, like obviously from a supplement side, we have our original liquid that we rolled out 20 some years ago. But people that don't really they may not want a liquid. They might like the convenience of a capsule. And we have a capsule format that contains this hyaluronic acid. And then for those that might want a chewable gummy or just a chewable product, we've given options in that regards. We do have a product, a dry mouth mint. You put the mint inside of your mouth, it starts to mix with saliva, and it produces a moisturizing film inside of the mouth for the dry mouth conditions. We have an eye drop. You put it in your eyes. This lubricating, hydrating, water-loving molecule is an excellent moisturizer for the eyes, just as well as a nasal spray can coat the nostrils and provide hydration, or a shampoo and conditioner can moisturize the scalp, or a scalp spray that you spray it on. So it's all about body hydration. And the interesting thing is we're not introducing a molecule to the body that's foreign to the body. We're introducing a molecule that's already naturally occurring in the body. We're just dropping off as we get older, and we've got to find some way to supplement it or maintain it in our skin and throughout our body.
Amazing. There aren't too many companies that specialize in hyaluronic acid that I can think of. So as people hear more and more about this nutrient, HA for short, hyaluronic acid, I think it's a logical starting point to start with Hyalogic. You see what I did there, Darren? Yeah. I think that's a logical starting point, hyalogic.com, and see what they've got, folks. Or come on in, ask one of our staff about the hyaluronic acid products that you heard about here on the Healthy Habit Podcast. So really interesting material here. So again, remind us, how long has Hyalogic been a company? When did you guys start?
I think 2001.
2001. So
started, yeah, if I remember. we kind of started getting going around 2003 or 2004. I attended my first trade show out in California, and I was standing there in the booth, and I was trying to wave people over. I said, "Hey, we got hyaluronic acid liquid supplements," and people are like, "I don't even know anything about hyaluronic acid." And we said, "Well, what if I told you that it was naturally occurring inside of your body, and it was the most hydrating, water-loving molecule in your body?" And they said, "I don't even interested in that." And I said, "Well, what if it would hydrate and plump your skin and help you with wrinkles and help you to have nice, comfortable movement in your joints, so you don't have a rough grinding effect, like motor oil is to the car." And they're like, "Oh, okay, that's more interesting." And they'd come over, and I couldn't have given away bottles back then because people didn't know anything about it. But I think the last time I checked, the searchability for the terms hyaluronic acid online are somewhere between 500,000 and 1 million per month that people are typing in those search terms. And that's because they're seeing TV commercials and magazine advertisements and going into their doctor's office, and they might see a pamphlet sitting in the waiting room on hyaluronic acid. And all we did was take some products that we could deliver to a health food store and that people could use right in their own home.
In the last 4 minutes or so here, Darren, I want to hear, what are some other lifestyle strategies or nutrition tips that people can apply today to improve their hyaluronic acid production? It's not just drink more water, correct?
Right. And we always tell people just drink an adequate amount of water. For hyaluronic acid to take effect, if you're using it in supplement or skincare, you don't have to excessively overhydrate to get it to benefit. Just your normal daily intake of water. Now, obviously, if you don't drink as much water, you're still going to get the benefits, but you might get more benefits if you're drinking more water. There's not really a food source that we've been able to isolate. There was a story that came out many years back. A news agency kind of talked about hyaluronic acid, and people were looking for it at their local health food store thinking, "Hey, what kind of fruit or vegetable or what can I eat to get the hyaluronic acid?" Well, there really isn't anything readily available, so people are looking for it in a supplement format. As far as other lifestyle, I mean, that I would leave that up to you, as the doc, to give some guidelines on that. But I mean, just the general stuff that we do is we try to prevent that oxidative damage within our body. So we're eating our antioxidants, and we're controlling the inflammatory responses in our body through different ways, just making sure that we don't overexert ourselves and a variety of different things. But they're all correlated, within the body overall.
Vitamin C is critical for skin health. A lot of people are stressed, and like you said, the oxidative stress, that's just burning through vitamin C. So then that's going to have an effect on the skin. So that's another way. Imagine you start using a hyaluronic acid serum on the face at night while you're also increasing your vitamin C levels and water intake. Those are maybe a good starting point.
Yeah, that's a big area right now. When you read the articles about how the skin reacts and how it breaks down in the aging process, and the big area they're talking about is the oxidative damage to the skin. And the minute we walk outside, or even I'm sitting here in my office, I'm sitting underneath the lights, I'm receiving oxidative, capability to damage my skin. So you always want to protect your skin. I'm a big proponent of, wearing your hats and your sunglasses, to protect your eyes and all the different things within the body.
Darren, that brings us to the end of our segment here today, our first interview here on the new platform, on the Healthy Habit Podcast. What's a good take home here if someone, on their way out of the store right now, as they're shopping, they're listening to us? What should somebody know here about Hyalogic Hyaluronic Acid until the next time you and I speak?
Do your own research. Verify that what you and I are saying is legitimate. That's the key element. It is a naturally occurring element inside of the body. So we want to make sure that it is declining as we get older. It's the most water-loving, hydrating element that man has known. And it is depleting in our body, but we want to try to keep it into our body. So look for it in a supplement format that you can take on a daily basis and apply it topically and utilize it with personal care products. And then obviously, get into your health food store, Healthy Habits, and those others out there that you can, ask the technical questions about.
And last thing I like to ask before we wrap it up, since you're you're at the top of the company helping with decision making and strategy, and what's coming up here maybe in the next, I don't know, 5 years plus. Do you guys have any other things in the works, or I want to hear what's up and coming at Hyalogic?
Our goal is to continue to educate the consumer on the benefits of hyaluronic acid. We've got quite a few products out in the marketplace, and what we want to do is just kind of sort through all the confusion that people might have out there, and then so they can read more and understand more about how this molecule can benefit the body. That's been our quest from the very beginning. We wanted to improve the lives of animals and humans through creating products that could benefit them, but through education. And so I've been training and educating for 20 years. And yes, every day that I got to be on a podcast or talk to people about the molecule, I'm talking about the same thing over and over again. But if just one person hears about it and they inquire about it, they go talk to their doctor about it, they go talk to their friends or family about it to learn more about it and understand the benefits that it can happen, then I'm a happy person. And that's what our company is all about here, is to try to get out. Oftentimes people will call our office and they'll have a ton of questions. They'll be on the call with us for 20 or 30 minutes. And we're not asking them to purchase anything. We're just saying, we're glad you called. We've given you information. Go make your own decision. Thanks a lot. So that's our goal, is to continue to educate people moving forward.
Darren Landis, thank you for your time, and I look forward to our next conversation.
Well, nice job, Doc. You got a good setup, good voice for it, and you got a good approach. I liked your questions and how you're working down through it. Keep up the good work.
I appreciate you saying that, sir.
I can see us getting back on again and kind of dissecting the joint health side, the skin health side, the eye health benefits.
Exactly.
We could really break it down, but today we covered just the high-level parts.
You're our hyaluronic acid guy going forward.
All
right. Take care, my friend.